Hi, my name is Richard, and today I just received my freeze frame in the mail. It's a new apparatus I found that allows me to get bulk foods such as soups or sauces or gravies, and soft semi-solid foods such as ground beef, and it allows me to place those in a freezer bag, drop them into the frame, close the frame, and it divides it up, the bulk liquids, up into 4 different individual portions. I'll show you how it works. I've got a freeze frame here. I'm going to pretend I have spaghetti sauce. I don't have any prepared right now for this video, so I'm going to use water. I've got a 2-cup measure right here, and so I'm going to put in this one 6 cups, little 1.5 quarts of liquid. Right inside this, I'm pretending that it's spaghetti sauce that's been cooled. You want to always start with the cool liquid or semi-solid. So I'm going to go ahead and put 3 cups down in this bag, or actually 6 cups. It's in here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze the excess air out of it. I'm going to go ahead and close the bag up a little bit, all the way except for the very end. I'm going to gently push all the air out of it and close it. You always want to be sure the bag doesn't leak. As we can see, it doesn't leak, and then you simply just drop it down into the freeze frame, just like that. It automatically settles into the compartments, and you gently snap it closed, like that. Now what you do is you just place this freeze frame in your freezer on one of the shelves. It's best to do it, if it's a liquid, to do it flat. I already have one that's been frozen in here, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that out, and I'll show you what you get once it's frozen. So here's a freeze frame I have that I put the spaghetti sauce in, and I open it up, and now you have a bag with 4 separate portions in it, as you can see, because it separates them in the freeze frame. You can zip it open. You can reach in there and you can pull out 1 portion at a time and thaw out and cook 1 small portion instead of thawing out the entire bag full of stuff. It's good and saves a lot of electricity in the fact that if you thaw all of the portion out and then refreeze it again, you've got a lot of hot liquids you're putting back in your freezer to freeze it. This way you only take out the portion that you actually want to thaw out and cook. You can take all of these pieces out and store them in a bigger bag. You can use multiple freeze frames because they stack one on top of each other nice and flat in your freezer. You can use soft meat such as hamburgers, where you place your hamburgers in your ground beef in your bag, flatten it out, set it in your freeze frame, just push it down in the frame and close the frame and freeze it, and now you got 4 individual portions of ground beef. If you would like to have smaller portions, you can get 2 Ziploc bags. I'll pull out 2 freezer bags, sealable freezer bags here. And what I'll do this time is I'll pretend that I've got more spaghetti sauce. And I'll go ahead and I'll put probably 3 cups in each bag. Get the air out of the bag, the excess air out. Just push it down, seal the bag shut. I'm going to repeat that process. I'm going to put 3 cups in this bag here. And this is my clear spaghetti sauce that I'm using because I cooked a whole lot of spaghetti sauce. That's my second Ziploc bag I have. I'm going to purge the air out of it. Close it up, purge the air out of it. Now what I want to do then is just open my freeze frame. I stand it up to open it. I get the first bag. I lay it flat in there. I get the second bag with the liquid in it. Air has been removed. I lay it right on top of it. You can kind of patty this down and it actually separates it very well. You want to be sure that there's none of the bag sticking out, so when you close it, you pinch it. You don't want to pinch it. You push it down slowly until it latches. Put it in your freezer and freeze it. I did this earlier so I can reach in here and put my freeze frame in. I'm going to lay it flat, and I'm going to pull out several bags that I had in there, frozen earlier. And these are bags. I broke them apart where if I want individual portions, I can just reach in, pull an individual portion out, and thaw that out and have it. And I can actually put in a bigger bag more of these pieces in there. And that way you can use a smaller number of larger freezer bags to store more product. That basically is how the freeze frame works. It's a great idea. I'll show you how to use the freeze frame apparatus to get ground beef and put ground beef in a sealable bag, pat it down, and then be able to freeze it, and the freeze frame will separate it into smaller portions so that later on when you thaw it out, you only thaw out what you need to use. To do this, we've got a freeze frame here. As you can see, it's got compartments in it. It closes together, locks together. I'm going to open the freeze frame up and lay it down. I'm going to get a freezer bag. This particular one has a sealable portion on it, and all I'm going to do is just get all of this hamburger right here, put it down in here, dump it down in there. Going to go ahead and close it up. Leave it almost a little bit open so that air can come out. And all you do is just flatten this stuff out real quick. It's easy to do. Doesn't take much. Bleed a little more air out of it. Flatten the hamburger down quickly. Only takes a minute. Kind of fun doing this. You can watch TV while you're doing this. So, quickly, that's down. Zipped it. I'm now going to get it and just drop this down in the freeze frame and just gently push it down in, like this. And once you do that, you can go ahead and close the freeze frame. Close the freeze frame on it gently. Push it down in there and seal it. And put it in your freezer. Once it's frozen, and I don't have any frozen now to take out of the freezer, you can take it out. And if you open it up and hold the freeze frame up, you'll see it's partitioned into 4 individual pieces. You can take each piece out. You can repackage these 4 pieces into a larger bag if you want to store more of them in a larger bag. Or you can just get several bags like this and stack them on top of each other and keep them in your freezer. This way you only have to thaw out 1 portion at a time instead of thawing all of the meat out and then having to refreeze it again. My freeze frame again to give you more tips on how to use it and how you can really make things very economical for you, especially when you're freezing stuff. What I'm going to do in this second video here on the ground beef is show you how you can get, and we're using 4 pounds of ground beef. So I've got it divided up into 2 2-pound sections. And what I'm going to do is grab a 2-pound section, place it in a Ziploc bag, freezer bag. I'm going to seal it up a little bit, but I'm also going to leave a little bit of opening here so as I press it out, the air will come out of it. And all you do is just quickly flatten this down in this bag. It's pretty easy to do. Push it out. Flatten the bag. It's not perfect, but it's good enough for me. And I'm going to get the other one and put it in this bag over here. The other 2 pounds. Flatten it out of this bag. I'm learning on this. I find out if I put the ground beef in the bag in the center of it, it flattens evenly all the way around. For those who aren't smart enough in the kitchen to figure that out, I figure I'll tell them that. Okay, so here you have this flatten out. I'm going to go ahead and zip them up. I'm going to get the freeze frame and open up the freeze frame. I'm going to drop this portion right down inside here on top of the freeze frame, and I'm going to just gently press it down in place. Really easy to do. I'm going to drop this other portion right on top of it here. I'm going to fold my flap down so that it is inside the freeze frame. And just gently push this down in here. Like that. Okay. Then as you close the freeze frame, you close it up gently. Make sure your zippers and all are tucked in there. Snap it up. And snap it shut. Snap and snap. And then put it in your freezer and freeze it. I don't have any of it frozen now, but if we pretend this was frozen, I took it out of the freezer and opened it up, you will find out that each of these bags is now separated into 4 separate patties. So you can now open up your Ziploc bag and take out a small frozen portion and thaw it out for use. The one underneath it is also divided into 4 separate units. You can just do like this, break them free, pull out a smaller portion. That way the unused portions stay in your freezer and stay frozen. What I'm going to show you right now is ground beef, how you can use the freeze frame to store large quantities of, say, hamburgers, to where once they're frozen you can pull individual burgers out. You don't have to fight with trying to thaw the hamburger out and making a burger. So to start with, I got the freeze frame and I just opened the freeze frame up. Just set it down, and this is just regular saran wrap. I just put a layer of saran wrap down on it, and then what I do is I just place 1 burger in each of the compartments of the freeze frame. If I want to freeze more burgers, I get another piece of saran wrap, lay it on top of those just like that, and go ahead and just add more burgers. They're separated with the saran wrap. Let me finish this 1 burger up here. Take it out, plop it in there, put a piece of saran wrap down on top of them. You can probably do, I would say, 12 hamburgers, depending on the size, 12 to 16 hamburgers. The more layers you do, you just cover it with saran wrap. When you finish, you can just kind of fold your saran wrap over and just close the freeze frame. You hear it snap closed, put it in your freezer and freeze it. And once it's frozen, you can take them out. You can get the individual frozen burgers and place them in a freezer bag if you wanted to. Keep them in the saran wrap. When you're ready for one, you just take it out, just grab the individual burger out and thaw it out and cook it. That way you don't have to unthaw 4 pounds of hamburger meat at a time to try to make 1 hamburger.